Admiral Lee Tae-min stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching the most terrible sight any human had ever seen. Earth was burning. The blue planet that gave birth to humanity was turning into a ball of fire and melted rock. He could not believe what he was seeing through the ship's main screen. "Sir, the readings are confirmed," said Captain Park Ji-ho from his station. His voice shook as he spoke. "Earth is gone. All life signs have stopped." Lee closed his eyes for a moment. 10 billion people lived on Earth. His wife, his children, his parents, all of them were now dead. When he opened his eyes again, they were filled with tears, but his voice was steady. "How many ships do we have left?" he asked. Commander Kim So-young checked her screens. 47 ships, sir. We were lucky to be on patrol when it happened. The Mars fleet and the other colonies were not attacked." Lee looked at the thing that destroyed his world. It was huge, bigger than Earth's moon. The ship was black as space itself, and it seemed to eat the light around it. Strange symbols glowed on its surface, but they hurt to look at. This single enemy ship had killed an entire planet in less than 5 minutes. "Any communication from the enemy?" Lee asked. "Yes, sir," said Ji-ho. "But it's strange. They're speaking Korean. Perfect Korean. Put it through." The voice that came through the speakers was calm and cold. It spoke like a teacher talking to a small child. "Your species has been judged. You have failed the test of civilization. We grant you the mercy of quick extinction. Do not resist. Accept your fate." Lee grabbed the communication device. "This is Admiral Lee Tae-min of the Human Defense Force. Who are you? Why did you do this?" "Names are not important. We are what you would call gardeners. Earth was a weed that would have spread across the galaxy. We have removed it. The remaining human settlements will be visited soon. Prepare your people for peaceful death." The communication ended. The bridge was silent except for the soft beeping of the ship's computers. Everyone looked at Lee, waiting for orders. "Sir," said So-young, "what do we do?" Lee looked at Earth one more time. Where his home used to be, there was now just empty space and floating pieces of rock. The alien ship sat there like it was waiting for something. "We run," he said. "We warn the colonies, and then we make them pay for what they did." The next few hours were the longest of Lee's life. They sent emergency messages to Mars, Europa, Titan, and all the outer colonies. The alien ship did not follow them. It just stayed where Earth used to be, like it was guarding a grave. Dr. Han Ye-jin was one of the few scientists who escaped from Earth. She had been on a research station when the attack happened. Now she sat in the ship's medical bay, crying and shaking. "Doctor," Lee said as he sat down next to her, "I need you to tell me everything you know about these aliens." "I don't know anything," she said through her tears. "We never saw them before. Our deep space sensors never detected them. They just appeared and—" She could not finish the sentence. "How is that possible? A ship that big should have been seen from far away." "I don't know," Han said again. "Maybe they can hide somehow. Maybe they travel through space in ways we don't understand. All I know is that they killed everyone I ever loved." Lee put his hand on her shoulder. "They killed everyone we all loved, but we're still alive, and as long as we're alive, we can fight back." Over the next few days, messages came in from all the human colonies. The alien ship had not moved. It was still sitting, where Earth used to be, but now it was doing something new. It was drawing energy directly from the sun. "What does that mean?" Lee asked So-young. "We're not sure, sir, but the energy readings are enormous. If it wanted to, it could probably destroy our entire solar system." "Then why isn't it? Maybe it's waiting for something, or maybe it doesn't see us as a threat." That made Lee angry. Not a threat? They had just destroyed the most important planet in human space, and they thought humans were not a threat? "Lieutenant, Song Min-jae brought a message from Mars. Sir, Admiral Choi Min-ho wants to speak with you. He says it's urgent." Lee took the call. Choi's face appeared on the screen. He was an older man with gray hair and serious eyes. "Tae-min," Choi said, "I'm sorry about Earth. I'm sorry about your family." "Thank you, sir. What are your orders?" "I'm putting together the largest fleet in human history. Every colony is sending ships. We're going to go back and destroy that thing. Sir, with respect, we don't know how to fight it. It destroyed Earth in minutes. Then we'll figure out how. We can't let this stand. If we don't fight back, they'll come for the colonies next. And even if they don't, we can't let the death of Earth go unpunished. Lee understood. It was not just about revenge. It was about proving that humanity would not go quietly into the dark. How many ships are we talking about, sir? 100,000. Every warship humanity has ever built, every captain who can fly, every soldier who can fight. Lee was amazed. That many? Earth was home to all of us, even those who never lived. There. Every human in the galaxy wants justice for what happened. When do we leave? 6 months. We need time to gather everyone and plan. Can you keep watching the enemy until then? Yes, sir. We'll watch and wait. After the call ended, Lee stood on the bridge and looked at the alien ship again. It sat there like a black star, stealing light from the sun. But now he felt something different. Before, he felt only sadness and fear. Now he felt hope. Humanity was coming. 100,000 ships were coming. They would make the aliens pay for what they did to Earth. Captain Yoon Heuk joined him at the viewing screen. Sir, do you really think we can win? Lee thought about it for a long time before answering. I don't know if we can win, but I know we have to try. Every human who ever lived came from Earth. We owe it to them to fight. Even if it means we all die, even then, some things are worth dying for. As the days passed, more ships arrived to watch the alien vessel. The human fleet grew slowly, but it grew. Ships came from the asteroid mines, from the gas giant research stations, from the furthest human settlements. Each ship brought stories of Earth, pictures and videos and memories of the world that was gone. Children who would never see their grandparents, parents who would never hold their children again, love letters that would never be delivered. Lee kept all these stories in his mind. When the time came to fight, he would remember every single one of them. The alien ship never moved. It never spoke again. It just sat there and waited, like it knew the humans would come back, and they would. 100,000 ships were gathering across human space. The largest army ever assembled was preparing for war. Earth was gone, but humanity was not. And soon, very soon, the aliens would learn what happened when you took everything from a species that refused to give up. The day Earth died was the day humanity chose to live. 6 months had passed since Earth died. Admiral Choi Min-ho stood in the command center on Mars, looking at the biggest collection of human warships ever gathered in one place. The sight made his heart beat faster with both pride and fear. Ships stretched out as far as he could see. Big dreadnoughts that could crack planets, fast destroyers that could dance between enemy fire, carriers full of fighter ships, medical vessels to help the wounded, supply ships carrying food, fuel, and weapons. 100,000 ships from every human world, all come together for one purpose. Sir, said Captain Park Ji-ho, the final count is complete. We have exactly 100,000 combat-ready vessels. Choi nodded. He had never imagined commanding so many ships at once. When he was young, a fleet of 50 ships was considered huge. Now he had 2,000 times that number. Any word from the scout ships watching the enemy? Admiral Lee reports no change. The alien vessel remains in Earth's former orbit. It's still drawing energy from the sun, but it hasn't moved or communicated. Dr. Han Ye-jin walked into the command center. She looked tired. For 6 months, she had been studying every piece of data they had about the aliens. It was not much. Doctor, Choi said, tell me you have good news. Han shook her head. I wish I did, Admiral. We still know almost nothing about them. We don't know where they came from. We don't know how their technology works. We don't even know why they destroyed Earth. They said we failed some kind of test. Yes, but what test? What did we do wrong? And more importantly, how do we fight something we don't understand? Captain Yoon Hyuk joined them. He was in charge of intelligence for the fleet. We've been studying the attack recordings from Earth. The energy weapon they used was unlike anything we've ever seen. It seemed to work at the atomic level, breaking apart matter itself. Choi felt a chill. Are you saying our shields won't work? I'm saying we don't know if our shields will work. We've never faced anything like this before. Commander Baek Ji-won entered the room. She was young for a ship captain, only 30 years old, but she was one of the best pilots in the fleet. Her destroyer, the swift arrow, was known throughout human space for its speed and skill. "Admiral," she said, "the captains are asking about our battle plan. What do we tell them?" Choi looked at the tactical display showing their massive fleet. "How do you plan a battle against an enemy you know nothing about? How do you fight something that destroyed your homeworld in minutes?" "We use our numbers," he said finally. "That ship is big and powerful, but it's still just one ship. We have 100,000. Even if it destroys half our fleet, we'll still outnumber it 50,000 to 1. "Sir," said Dr. Han, "what if numbers don't matter? What if their technology is so advanced that our weapons can't hurt them?" "Then we ram them," Choi said. 100,000 ships hitting them at the same time. Even the strongest ship has limits. Lieutenant Song Min-jae brought in the latest reports from the colonies. "Admiral, there's something strange happening across human space. People are reporting dreams." "Dreams?" "Yes, sir. The same dream, over and over. They see Earth burning. They hear voices calling for help. Some people say they can hear the voices of the people who died on Earth." Han looked interested. "Mass psychological trauma is normal after an event like this. But for people to have the same dreams, is it important?" Choi asked. "Maybe. Or maybe it's just our minds trying to process what happened." Over the next few weeks, the fleet prepared for departure. Every ship was checked and rechecked. Weapons were tested. Shields were calibrated. Crews drilled battle scenarios day and night. Choi visited different ships to talk to the crews. On the carrier Braveheart, he met with fighter pilots from Europa. On the battleship Iron Will, he spoke with gunners from Titan. Every person he met had the same look in their eyes, determination mixed with sadness. "Admiral," said one pilot, a young woman named Lee Soo-jin, "my parents lived on Earth. I was born there. When I close my eyes, I can still see the house where I grew up. It's gone now, but I remember." "That's why we're going back," Choi told her. "For your parents, for your house, for everyone and everything we lost." "Do you think we can win, sir?" Choi was honest with her. "I don't know, but I know we have to try." Communications Officer Young Ha-na brought troubling news from the scout ships. "Admiral, the alien vessel is doing something new. It's sending out small ships." "How small?" "About the size of our fighters. But they're not attacking anything." "They seem to be. Studying the solar system." "Studying what?" "Everything. The sun, the planets, the asteroid belt. It's like they're mapping everything." Dr. Han had a worried look on her face. "If they're studying our solar system, they might be planning to destroy more than just Earth. Then we need to move faster," Choi said. "Signal all ships. We leave tomorrow." That night, Choi stood alone on the observation deck of his flagship, the Human's Resolve. The ship was bigger than most space stations, with enough firepower to level a city. But looking at the alien vessel's location on the star charts, he wondered if it would be enough. Admiral Lee appeared on the communication screen. "Minho, we're ready to guide you in. The enemy hasn't reacted to our presence, but that might change when they see your fleet. Any new intelligence?" "Only that it's gotten bigger." "Bigger?" "The ship. It's grown by about 10% since we've been watching it. We think it's using the sun's energy to build something." Choi felt his stomach drop. A ship that could grow itself was beyond anything humans had imagined. "Building what?" "We don't know. But whatever it is, we need to stop it before it finishes." The next morning, the largest fleet in human history began its journey home. 100,000 ships moved together through space like a metal river flowing toward the sun. As they traveled, more reports came in about the dreams. Now almost every human in space was having them. The dreams were getting stronger and more detailed. People could hear voices calling their names. They could see faces of the dead. "Admiral, Doctor," Han said, "I don't think these are just dreams anymore. I think something is trying to communicate with us." "The aliens?" "No. I think it's the people who died on Earth. I know how it sounds, but the evidence is building. People are remembering things they never knew, seeing places on Earth they never visited." Captain Oh Dong-hyun, commander of the science vessel Discovery, had been studying the phenomenon. "Sir, we're detecting unusual energy patterns in the brains of people having these dreams. It's almost like they're receiving transmissions." "From where?" "That's the strange part. The transmissions seem to be coming from the direction of Earth, or rather, from where Earth used to be." Choi didn't know what to make of this. First, an impossible alien ship, now impossible dreams. The universe seemed to be breaking its own rules. As they got closer to the solar system, the dreams became even stronger. Some crew members reported having full conversations with dead relatives. Others said they could feel the pain of Earth's destruction as if it was happening to them. Should we be worried about the crew's mental state? Choi asked Dr. Han. Strangely, no. The dreams seem to be making people stronger, not weaker, more determined to fight, like the dead are giving them courage. 3 days before they reached the solar system, something changed. The dreams stopped being sad and started being hopeful. People reported seeing visions of Earth green and beautiful again. They heard voices telling them not to give up. It's like Earth is still alive somehow, said Lieutenant Song, like it's waiting for us to come home. Choi hoped that was true, because very soon, they would find out if 100,000 ships were enough to avenge their world, or if humanity was about to join Earth in death. The great fleet moved on through the darkness, carrying the hopes and anger of every human still alive. The massive human fleet moved through deep space like a moving city of metal and lights. Commander Baek Ji-won stood on the bridge of her destroyer, the Swift Arrow, watching the endless line of ships around her. For 8 months, they had been traveling back to Earth, and still the sight amazed her. "Commander," said her second officer, Lieutenant Kim Jae-sung, "the morning training session is ready to begin." Baek nodded. Every day, the entire fleet practiced battle formations. 100,000 ships moving as one was not easy. It took perfect timing and communication. One mistake could cause crashes that would destroy dozens of ships. "Begin the drill," she ordered. Across the fleet, ships moved into attack patterns. The big dreadnoughts formed the center, their heavy weapons pointing forward. Destroyers like the Swift Arrow moved to the sides, ready to strike fast and hard. Carriers stayed in the back, protected by layers of other ships. On the flagship Humans. Resolve, Admiral Choi watched the drill with satisfaction. After 8 months of practice, his fleet moved like a living thing. Each captain knew their place. Each crew knew their job. "Time for completion?" he asked. 14 minutes, 30 seconds, reported Captain Park Ji-ho. "That's our best time. Yet. Good. But we need to be faster. When we face the enemy, we won't have 15 minutes to get into position." Dr. Han Ye-jin was also on the bridge, studying data from their destination. "Admiral, we're starting to get detailed sensor readings from the solar system. The alien ship is still there, still in Earth's orbit." "Any changes?" "It's definitely grown larger, about 20% bigger than when we left. And the energy? Readings are enormous. It's drawing more power from the sun than our entire fleet uses." Admiral Lee's voice came through the communication system from his scout ships near Earth. "Minho, we've been studying the alien vessel for months now. It's not just growing, it's building something inside itself." "Building what?" "We can't tell. The hull is too thick for our sensors to see through, but there are new structures appearing on the outside. Weapon platforms, maybe. Or worse." Choi felt a chill. A ship that could build new weapons while they traveled toward it was a terrifying opponent. "How long until we arrive?" 72 hours at current speed. "Any sign that they know we're coming?" "None. They haven't reacted to our presence at all. It's like they don't see us as a threat." That made Choi angry. Earth was dead because of them, and they didn't even consider humans worth noticing? Lieutenant Song Min-jae brought disturbing news from across the fleet. "Admiral, the dreams are getting stronger. Some crew members are reporting that they can't tell the difference between being awake and dreaming." The dreams had been happening for months now. Every human in the fleet saw the same visions: Earth burning, voices of the dead calling to them, and strange new images they couldn't understand. Dr. Han had studied the phenomenon, but she still had no explanation. "Are the dreams affecting performance?" Choi asked. "Actually, no, sir. If anything, the crews are more motivated than ever. They say the dreams remind them why we're fighting." Captain Yoon Hyuk had been analyzing intelligence from the solar system. "Admiral, we've detected something new. The alien ship has been sending out small craft to visit other planets." "Which planets?" "Mars, Venus, Jupiter, Saturn, even Pluto. They seem to be studying everything in our solar system." "Weapons surveys?" "We don't think so. The small craft don't have obvious weapons. They just scan and record, then return to the main ship." Dr. Han looked worried. They're cataloging our solar system, like scientists studying a new area before they change it. Change it how? I don't know. But when a species that can destroy planets starts studying your neighborhood, it's probably not good news. Commander Bayek received a priority message on her personal communication device. It was from her sister Min Jung, who worked on the space station around Titan. Ji-won, her sister's voice said, I had the dream again last night, but this time it was different. I saw Earth, but it wasn't dead. It was green and beautiful, like it used to be. And there were people there. People who had died. They were smiling and waving at me. Beck had heard similar reports from across the fleet. The dreams were changing, becoming less about death and more about hope. Some crew members claimed they could speak with dead relatives in their dreams. Are you okay, Minjung? I'm fine. Better than fine, actually. The dream gave me peace. It felt real, Ji-won. More real than this conversation. After the call ended, Beck thought about her own dreams. She had been seeing her grandmother, who died on Earth. In the dreams, her grandmother told her that death was not the end, and that Earth would live again. It sounded impossible, but the dreams felt more real than reality. Captain Oh Dong-hyun. On the science vessel, Discovery had been studying the dream phenomenon with advanced equipment. Admiral, I've made a discovery about the dreams. They're not coming from our brains. What do you mean? The brain patterns we're seeing don't match normal dream states. It's like the dreams are being transmitted to us from somewhere else. From where? The signals seem to originate from the direction of Earth's former position. But that's impossible, because there's nothing there but empty space and the alien ship. Dr. Han had a theory. What if consciousness doesn't die with the body? What if the minds of everyone who died on Earth are still somehow connected to that location? That's not scientifically possible, said O. Neither is a ship that can destroy planets. But we've seen that. Maybe we need to accept that there are things in the universe we don't understand. As they got closer to home, the fleet's mood changed. The sadness and anger that had driven them for 8 months was now mixed with something else. Anticipation. The dreams had convinced many crew members that their dead loved ones were waiting for them. Admiral, said Communications Officer Jung Ha-na, we're receiving a message from the Mars colonies. They can see our fleet approaching. The whole solar system knows we're coming. Any reaction from the alien ship? None, sir. It continues its activities as if we don't exist. That evening, Choi called a meeting of his senior staff. In 48 hours, we'll be in weapons range of the enemy. I need to know if we're ready. Commander Bayek spoke first. The fleet is as ready as it can be. Crews are motivated, ships are in perfect condition, and our formations are precise. Weapons status. All systems operational. We have enough firepower to destroy a small moon. And if that's not enough? Bak's face was grim. Then we ram them. Every ship in the fleet if necessary. Dr. Han looked at her research data. There's something else we should consider. The dreams aren't random. They're showing us specific things. Earth restored, peace, hope. What if they're not just memories but visions of the future? You think the dead can see the future? I think something is trying to tell us that this battle is more important than just revenge, that something good can come from it. Yoon brought up tactical concerns. Even with 100,000 ships, we're facing an enemy that destroyed Earth in minutes. We need to be prepared for massive losses. How massive? Worst case, 90% casualties, maybe more. The bridge was quiet for a moment. Everyone understood what that meant. Almost everyone in the fleet would die. But they had come too. Far to turn back now. Send a message to all ships, Choi ordered. Tomorrow we enter the solar system where humanity began. We go to face an enemy that thinks we're not worth its attention. Let's show them what happens when you underestimate humans. As the fleet prepared for its final approach, the dreams grew stronger than ever. Crew members reported conversations with everyone who had ever died on Earth. Parents, children, friends, lovers, all of them seemed to be reaching across the void to touch the minds of the living. And they all said the same thing. Come home. We're waiting for you. And when you arrive, everything will change. The next morning, Long-range sensors detected the solar system ahead. Earth's sun looked the same as always, but where Earth should have been, there was only the massive black shape of the alien vessel. Soon, very soon, they would find out if humanity's greatest fleet could succeed where Earth had failed. The dreams promised victory, but dreams were not reality. Or were they? The human fleet entered the solar system in perfect formation, 100,000 ships spread across space like stars in the night sky. Admiral Choi stood on the bridge of the humans' resolve, staring at the enemy vessel that had murdered his world. The alien ship was enormous. It had grown even larger during their journey, now the size of a small moon. Its black surface seemed to drink in the light from the sun, and strange symbols pulsed along its hull like a slow heartbeat. It sat exactly where Earth used to be, as if it owned that sacred space. "All ships report ready for battle," said Captain Park Ji-ho. "Weapons are charged, shields are up. Range to target? 2 million kilometers and closing. We'll be in weapons. Range in 1 hour." Choi activated the fleet communication system. "All ships, this is Admiral Choi. We have traveled 8 months to reach this moment. That thing ahead of us destroyed our home. It killed 10 billion people. Today, we make them pay for what they did." Across the fleet, crews prepared for battle. On the destroyer Swift Arrow, Commander Bayek Ji-won checked her weapons one last time. Her ship was fast and deadly, perfect for hit-and-run attacks. She would lead the first wave against the enemy. On the science vessel Discovery, Captain Oh Dong-hyun monitored the alien ship with every sensor they had. "The energy readings are incredible," he reported to the fleet. "That ship has more power than our entire fleet combined." Dr. Han Ye-jin studied the tactical displays. After 8 months of preparation, they were finally here. But looking at the enemy vessel, she wondered if they had brought enough ships. How do you fight something that can destroy planets? "Admiral," said Communications Officer Jung Hana, "we're receiving a transmission from the alien vessel. Put it through." The voice that came through the speakers was the same one they had heard 8 months ago. Cold, calm, and speaking perfect Korean. "You have returned. We are curious. Why do you seek death when we offered you the gift of forgetting?" Choi stepped forward. "We seek justice for our world." "Justice?" The alien voice seemed amused. "You speak of justice to the architects of reality? We who have shaped 1,000 galaxies? Child species, you know nothing of justice? We know enough. You murdered 10 billion innocent people." "Innocent? Your species was spreading across the galaxy like a disease. Your wars, your destruction, your inability to grow beyond your animal nature. We prevented a greater tragedy." Admiral Lee's voice came from the scout ships positioned near the alien vessel. "Admiral Choi, they're powering up the same weapon that destroyed Earth. Energy readings are off the charts." On the Discovery, Captain O watched his instruments with growing alarm. "All ships, this is Discovery. The alien vessel is charging what appears to be a planet-killer weapon. Estimated time to firing, 3 minutes. Choi felt his heart racing. They had traveled so far, prepared so much, and now they might all die before the battle even began. "All ships, prepare for evasive action. When that weapon fires, scatter in all directions." But then something unexpected happened. The weapon charging stopped. "Interesting," said the alien voice. "You came here expecting to die. You brought 100,000 ships knowing we could destroy them all. This is not what we calculated. We came here to fight for our home. Your home is gone. We removed it because your species failed the test of civilization. You were violent, destructive, unable to grow beyond your base nature." Dr. Han spoke up. "What test? We never knew there was a test. Every species faces the same test, though they do not know it. When they develop technology capable of crossing space, they reach a critical moment. They either evolve beyond their primitive instincts, or they spread those instincts across the galaxy. We watch, we judge, we act when necessary. And you decided. We failed. Your history spoke for itself. Thousands of years of war, environmental destruction, inability to unite even when facing global problems. Earth would have produced a species that brought only violence to the stars." Choi felt anger building in his chest. "So you appointed yourselves judges of our entire species?" We did not appoint ourselves. We were chosen by those who came before us, as we will choose those who come after. For millions of years we have guided the evolution of the galaxy. Some species we nurture, others we remove. Commander Bayek's voice came through the communication system. Admiral, this is Swift Arrow. The alien ship is launching smaller vessels, hundreds of them. Combat vessels? Negative. They appear to be scanning us, like they're studying our ships, the alien voice continued. We are trying to understand something. Your species was marked for removal. Yet here you are, having done something unprecedented. In 8 months, you united every human settlement, not for conquest or expansion, but for what you call justice. You brought 100,000 ships not to destroy us out of greed, but to face us for the sake of those who died. Captain Yoon Hyuk had been analyzing the tactical situation. Admiral, something's wrong. They could have destroyed us by now, but they're not attacking. They're just talking. Dr. Han was thinking fast. The dreams. Everyone in the fleet has been having the same dreams. What if they're not dreams at all? What if the minds of everyone who died on Earth are somehow still connected to this place? That's impossible, said O from the Discovery. Is it? We're talking to aliens who can destroy planets. Maybe we need to expand our definition of what's possible. The alien voice spoke. Again, and for the first time, it sounded uncertain. We have been studying your dreams. The connection between your living minds and those who died on Earth is unexpected. In all our observations of species across the galaxy, we have never seen anything like it. What do you mean? Choi asked. When we remove a species, they die. Completely. Body and mind cease to exist. But your people, the consciousness of those who died on Earth has not faded. They remain connected to this location, and through some mechanism we do not understand, they speak to you. Lieutenant Song Min-jae was monitoring communications across the fleet. Admiral, the dreams are happening right now. Crew members across the fleet are reporting contact with the dead. They're all saying the same thing. Hold on. Something important is about to happen. The alien vessel's weapons powered down completely. We are confused. This is not how species react to judgment. You do not beg for mercy. You do not flee. You do not attack in blind rage. You came seeking what you call justice, and your dead continue to exist in ways that should be impossible. Maybe. You don't know as much about life and death as you think you do, Choi said. Perhaps. We have been wrong before, though rarely. Some species have surprised us. Some proved our judgment incorrect through their actions after seeming failure. What happened to those species? They were given a second chance. They were invited to join us in the great work of guiding galactic evolution. Dr. Han's eyes widened. You mean some species passed the test after failing it? A very few. Those who demonstrated growth beyond our expectations, who showed that they could evolve past their limitations. The alien ship began to change. The black surface started to shift and flow like liquid metal. New structures appeared, and lights began to glow in patterns across the hull. What's happening? Choi demanded. We are reconsidering. Your species has done something in 8 months that we did not think possible. You unified not for war, but for memory. You came here not to conquer, but to honor your dead. And your dead refused to be dead. Admiral Lee's voice crackled with excitement. Admiral Choi, you need to see this. Long-range sensors are detecting massive energy patterns where Earth used to be. Something is forming in the empty space. On the main screen, everyone could see it. Where Earth's orbit should have been empty, points of light were appearing. Slowly, carefully, something was taking shape. What you are seeing, said the alien voice, is why we are reconsidering. The consciousness of your dead has been trying to rebuild Earth from pure energy. They should not be able to do this. It should be impossible. Yet there it is. Choi stared at the growing shape of light. Earth? Not Earth as it was. Earth as it could be. Clean, perfect, alive with possibility. Your dead are showing us what your species might become. The alien ship's transformation continued. What had been a weapon of destruction was becoming something else entirely. You have a choice. To make children of the lost world. We offer you the chance to prove us wrong. The alien ship continued to change before their eyes. What had been a weapon of death was becoming something beautiful and strange. The black surface flowed like water, revealing structures of crystal and light underneath. The human fleet watched, in amazement, as their enemy transformed into something completely different. "Admiral," said Dr. Han, her voice filled with wonder, "the energy readings from the alien ship are unlike anything we've seen. It's not just changing shape, it's changing into something else entirely." Admiral Choi stared at the transformation. "What are they doing?" The alien voice spoke again, but now it sounded different. Less cold, more curious. "We are preparing to show you the truth. You have earned the right to understand what you are really facing. But be warned, this knowledge has broken the minds of lesser species." "We're ready," Choi said, though he wasn't sure that was true. "Very well. We will share with you the memory of the galaxy. You will see what we have seen. You will understand what we are." Suddenly, every human in the fleet felt something touch their minds. It wasn't painful, but it was overwhelming. Information flooded into their consciousness, not words or pictures, but pure knowledge that appeared directly in their thoughts. Dr. Han gasped as the truth hit her. "Oh my God, they're not destroyers, they're gardeners." The knowledge kept coming, images of countless worlds across millions of years. The aliens, who called themselves the architects, traveling from star to star, planting seeds of life. They had created thousands of species, guided their evolution, watched them grow. Commander Bayek saw civilizations rising from primitive tribes to space-traveling peoples. She saw the architects as teachers, helping young species learn to use technology wisely. She saw them as protectors, preventing wars between neighboring worlds. But she also saw the dark side. Species that grew too violent, too destructive. Races that spread across the galaxy like a plague, destroying everything they touched. And she saw the architects making the hardest choice of all, ending those species before they could damage others. Captain Park felt tears on his face as he understood what Earth's destruction really meant. They thought they were saving the galaxy from us. The mental download continued. They saw Earth's history from the architect's perspective. Thousands of years of human war and destruction. Environmental damage that nearly killed the planet. Weapons that could destroy all life. "We watched your species for 10,000 years, the alien voice explained. "We saw great potential, but also great danger. You created beautiful art, but you also created weapons of mass destruction. You showed love for your families, but hatred for other tribes. You were capable of both creation and destruction on a massive scale." Lieutenant Song saw the moment when humanity first left Earth and reached other worlds. The architects had watched, hoping humans would mature as they spread across space. Instead, they saw the same patterns: conflict between colonies, competition for resources, the same tribal thinking that had marked human history. "When your expansion reached a critical point," the voice continued, "we made our decision. Earth would be removed. The remaining human colonies would be isolated until they died out naturally. We thought this was mercy, a quick end rather than the slow self-destruction we had observed in your species' history." But then came something the architects had never seen before. Admiral Lee, watching from his scout ship, felt the architects' amazement as they observed humanity's response to Earth's destruction. "You did something we did not calculate," the voice said with what sounded like wonder. "Instead of fighting each other for the remaining resources, you united. Instead of blaming each other for the disaster, you worked together. In 8 months, you accomplished what your species had never done in its entire history. True unity." Dr. Han understood now why the dreams had been so important. The consciousness of Earth's dead. They were guiding us, weren't they? Helping us become better than we were. Yes, and that should have been impossible. When we end a species, their consciousness dies with their bodies. But your people, your dead, refused to die. They remained connected to the location where they lived, and through bonds we do not understand, they reached across space to touch the minds of the living. Captain O on the Discovery was studying the energy patterns around Earth's former position. The points of light were growing brighter and more organized. "Admiral, I'm reading massive structural formation in Earth's orbit. Something is being built from pure energy." The alien voice continued the revelation. Your dead are trying to rebuild Earth, not as it was, but as it should be. They are using their combined consciousness to create a new world, one without the flaws that led to Earth's destruction. Is that possible? Choi asked. It should not be. Consciousness cannot create matter. Mind cannot build worlds. Yet there it is, growing before our eyes. Your dead are breaking the laws of reality itself. Commander Bayek felt a chill of understanding. You've been wrong before, haven't you? Other species surprised you. Yes, rarely, but yes. Some species we judged as failures proved us wrong through their actions. When faced with extinction, they grew beyond our expectations. They evolved not just technologically, but morally. They became better than they were. The mental download showed them these exceptions, races that had been marked for destruction, but proved their worth through unity, sacrifice, and growth. Species that faced their darkest hour and emerged transformed. What happened to those species? Dr. Han asked. They joined us. They became architects themselves, helping to guide other young races toward wisdom instead of destruction. The greatest gardeners are those who remember what it was like to almost become weeds. The revelation was staggering. The aliens weren't ancient gods or evil conquerors. They were species like humanity, but older and wiser. They had faced their own tests and passed, then dedicated themselves to helping others do the same. But we failed the test, Choi said bitterly. Earth is still dead. Did you fail? Look around you. 100,000 ships united for justice, not conquest. Your dead refusing to stay dead, working to build something better than what came before. Your species achieving in 8 months what it had never achieved in its entire history. Captain Yoon was studying the tactical displays. Admiral, the alien ship is powering up again, but not weapons, something else. The massive vessel began to glow with soft light. The crystal structures on its surface pulsed in rhythm with the energy patterns forming where Earth used to be. We are going to give you a choice, the alien voice said. It is a choice we have only offered to 7 species in our entire history. You can accept what happened to Earth and continue as you are, united but homeless. Or what? Or you can help us restore what was lost. We can rebuild Earth, not as it was, but as it could be. Perfect, clean, a world worthy of the species you are becoming. But in return, you must accept the responsibility that comes with such a gift. What responsibility? You must become architects yourselves. You must help us guide other species through their tests. You must prevent other worlds from suffering Earth's fate. You must become gardeners of the galaxy. The fleet was silent as they absorbed this offer. To get Earth back, they would have to give up their old way of life. They would have to become something new, teachers and protectors of other species. Dr. Han was the first to speak. How do we know you're telling the truth? How do we know this isn't some trick? Because, the voice said gently, you can feel the truth in your minds. The knowledge we shared came directly from our memories. You have seen what we have seen. You know we speak truly. And they did know. The mental connection had been too complete, too detailed to be a lie. They had felt the architects' genuine concern for the galaxy, their sadness at having to destroy species they had hoped to save. How long do we have to decide? Choi asked. Look, at what your dead are building, Earth will be reborn in 1 hour whether you accept our offer or not. The question is whether you will be worthy of the world they are creating for you. On the main screen, the energy patterns had formed into a recognizable shape. It was Earth, but not the Earth they remembered. This world glowed with clean energy. The continents were green and beautiful. The oceans sparkled with pure water. It was Earth as it should have been, without pollution or damage. My God, whispered Admiral Lee. It's beautiful. The alien voice spoke one final time before the choice had to be made. Your species stands at a crossroads. You can remain as you were and accept this gift as simply that, a gift. Or you can evolve into something greater and help us ensure that no other species has to face what you faced. The choice is yours. Admiral. Choi looked around his bridge. Every face showed the same expression, hope mixed with determination. They had come seeking revenge and found something far more important. They had found a purpose greater than themselves. The time had come to decide humanity's future. The space around Kepler 442b burned with the light of 1,000 dying stars. Captain Hyun-woo Park stood on the bridge of the UES Retribution, watching enemy ships fall like rain before his weapons. The massive dreadnought cut through space, like a knife through paper. Every alien fleet that faced it learned the same lesson. Humans did not give up. "Captain, enemy reinforcements coming from the dark side of the planet," called out Lieutenant Yuna Shin from her station. Her fingers danced across the control panel, tracking dozens of incoming ships. Hyun-woo nodded. He had expected this. The Zelthari Empire always saved their best ships for last. They thought numbers would win the day. They were wrong. "All batteries, focus fire on the lead cruiser," he ordered. His voice was calm, like he was asking someone to pass the salt at dinner. "Engineering, give me everything the reactor can handle." Deep in the ship's belly, Chief Engineer Woo Jin Nam pushed buttons and pulled levers. The Retribution's engines hummed louder. Energy flowed through the ship like blood through veins. This was what the ship was built for. This was war. The main cannon fired. A beam of pure energy crossed the distance between ships in less than a second. The enemy cruiser simply disappeared. One moment it was there, the next, it was atoms floating in space. "Direct hit, Captain," reported Tactical Officer Seok Jin Oh. "Enemy formation is breaking apart." But something was wrong. Hyun-woo felt it in his bones. The enemy ships were not running away like they usually did. Instead, they were forming a circle around the Retribution. They were up to something. "Sir, I'm reading massive energy buildup from all enemy ships," Yuna called out. Her voice had a note of worry. "It's not weapons energy. It's something else." On the main screen, the alien ships began to glow. Bright lines of light connected them to each other. They were creating some kind of network. Hyun-woo had never seen anything like it. "All ships, pull back to safe distance," he ordered into his communicator. "Something big is coming." The other human ships in the fleet began to move away, but the Retribution was in the center of the alien circle. There was nowhere to run. Dr. Haiwan Jung looked up from her science station. Her face was pale. "Captain, they're opening some kind of portal. The energy readings are off the charts." The space in front of the Retribution began to twist and bend. Reality itself seemed to be tearing apart like old cloth. Through the hole in space, Hyun-woo could see something that made his mind hurt to look at. It was not darkness. It was the absence of everything. "All power to shields," he ordered. "Prepare for—" The universe exploded. Light brighter than a sun filled the bridge. Every screen went white. Every sound became a single terrible note that seemed to come from everywhere at once. Hyun-woo felt the ship being pulled apart and pushed together at the same time. Then everything went black. 30 years later, Admiral So-young Kim stood in her office on Earth, looking at the memorial wall. 3,000 names were carved into the black stone. 3,000 heroes who had vanished in a flash of light near a distant star. "Still thinking about them?" asked Dr. Taemin Lee as he walked into the room. The old scientist carried a stack of papers in his hands. So-young nodded. "Every day. Hyun-woo was the best captain I ever knew. The Retribution was the finest ship ever built, and we lost them both in a single moment." Taemin set his papers on the desk. "Maybe we didn't lose them. Maybe they're still out there. It's been 30 years, Taemin. If they were alive, we would have heard something by now. Not if they went where I think they went." So-young turned to look at him. Taemin had been studying the battle data for 3 decades. He knew more about what happened that day than anyone alive. "Show me," she said. Taemin activated the holographic display in the center of the room. The battle appeared in miniature, ships moving like toys in the air. He pointed to the moment when the alien ships formed their circle. "Look at the energy patterns," he said. "The aliens weren't trying to destroy the Retribution. They were trying to send it somewhere." "Send it where?" "Hyperspace. The dimension that exists parallel to ours. It's where ships go when they travel faster than light, but only for a few seconds. The Retribution might have been trapped there." So-young stared at the display. "For 30 years? Time moves differently in hyperspace. What feels like years to us might only be days to them, or the other way around. The Admiral walked to the window. Outside, Earth's great cities stretched to the horizon. Humanity had won the war against the Zelthari Empire. They had built a better world, but the victory had cost them their greatest heroes. Even if you're right, we have no way to reach them, she said. Not yet. But I'm working on it. So Young looked at her old friend. Taemin had gray hair now and lines around his eyes, but his mind was still sharp as a blade. If anyone could solve this puzzle, it was him. Keep working, she said, but don't give yourself false hope. They're gone, Taemin. We have to accept that. But deep in his heart, Taemin knew she was wrong. Somewhere in the space between spaces, the Retribution still flew, and Captain Hyunwoo Park was still fighting the good fight. In hyperspace, time had no meaning. The Retribution drifted through a realm of pure energy and impossible geometry. Colors that had no names painted the walls of the ship. The crew had long since stopped trying to understand where they were. Captain, the scanners are picking up something, Yuna reported. Her voice echoed strangely in the twisted space around. Then Hyunwoo walked to her station. After 30 years of hyperspace, he looked exactly the same as the day they had vanished. Time did not touch them here. What kind of something? He asked. I'm not sure. It's big. Really big. And it's thinking. Ahead of the ship, a structure appeared that was larger than a planet. It was made of materials that seemed to shift and change as they watched. Geometric patterns covered its surface, patterns that hurt to look at for too long. It's beautiful, whispered Dr. Haiwan from her science station. A voice spoke in their minds. It did not use words, but somehow they understood. Welcome, children of Earth. We have been waiting for you. The ship was pulled toward the structure by forces they could not see or resist. As they drew closer, Hyunwoo saw that the surface was covered with symbols that looked almost familiar, almost human. Who are you? He asked aloud. We are the architects. We built the roads between stars long before your species learned to make fire. And we have a gift for you. The Retribution was drawn into the structure through an opening that appeared just large enough for the ship. Inside, they found a space that seemed to go on forever. Other ships floated in the distance, ships of designs they had never seen. Why are we here? Hyunwoo asked. Because you are needed. A great darkness is coming to your galaxy. The same darkness that destroyed ours long ago. You must be ready to face it. The voice paused, and Hyunwoo felt something change in the ship around him. The walls began to glow with new energy. The engines hummed with power he had never felt before. We give you our knowledge, our weapons, our strength. But the choice to use them must be yours. As the ship changed around them, Hyunwoo thought of Earth, of the billions of people who had no idea what was coming for them. He thought of Admiral So-Young Kim and all the friends he had left behind. When will we return? He asked. When the darkness comes, when your people need you most. Until then, you must learn. You must prepare. You must become more than human while remaining human. The transformation of the ship continued. And Captain Hyunwoo Park began to understand that their disappearance had not been an accident. It had been preparation for a war that was still to come.